from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studio here at Rupavahini. I'm Kasni Balachandra. Joining me is Zuin Hetiarachi. Let's start off with a quick look at the headlines.
Consensus at the All-Party Conference to build the nation with the cooperation of all sectors. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister thanks the Indian Prime Minister for the assistance being provided for the country's economic development. The United States says it will assist Sri Lanka at this crucial moment. Gas distribution is being carried out covering the entire island. Instructions have been given to receive the booster dose to avoid another possible outbreak of COVID-19. Distribution of 92% of school textbooks has been completed. Russia reveals its preparations to respond with the nuclear attacks on countries which may pose threats on its security. The effects of the economic crisis is being felt by the Sri Lankan general public. To combat this, all parties across the spectrum gathered at the Presidential Secretariat today.
And the all-party conference was held under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the President's house this morning. The all-party conference was convened to discuss and seek solutions to the current economic crisis. The forum was convened by the President following a proposal initiated by Sri Lanka Freedom Party to seek solutions for the ongoing economic crisis. United National Party, Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Mahajana Eksat Peramuna, Tamil National Alliance, National Congress, Tamil Makkal Viduthalai Pulikal, Upcountry People's Front, Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Sri Lanka Mahajana Party, Elam People's Democratic Party, Lanka Professor Tissa Vitarana of the LSSP, and Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathera of Ape Janabala Party, representing 11 partner parties, All Ceylon People's Congress, National Muslim Alliance, People's Liberation Organization, and the Ilankai Tamil Arasakachi were participating at the forum. Main opposition, Samagi Janabala Vegya, led by Sajith Premadasa, and Marxist Party, National People's Power, led by Andrukumar Dissanayaka, have decided to boycott the all-party conference. Now, the forum, the all-party conference forum, was held to solve the economic difficulties faced by the general public.
Yes, addressing the all-party conference, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa stressed that the forum was not an event of political maneuvering. He pointed out that further talks would be initiated with an aim to solve the economic difficulties faced by the general public. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the conference would be especially important as an effort to find short and long-term solutions to present problems we are facing as a country. The President also said that this is not a political maneuvering. He also said that he considered it a responsibility of all parties, whether government or opposition, to find solutions to the problems faced by the country today. He also requested the parties which are not attending the conference to join them later on to discuss and find short and long-term measures to bring the country forward.
වගකීමක් හැටියට මම විශ්වාස කරන නිසා අවංකවම මේ සෑම දෙනෙක්ගේ සහභාගීත්වය ලබා ගන්නටයි අද මේ සැමලුව කැඳවලා තිබෙන්නේ. සහභාගී නොවන අනිත් පක්ෂවලටත් මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඉදිරියේදී මේ සමුළුවට සහභාගී වෙලා ඔවුන්ගේ විසඳුම් සාකච්ඡා කළා කිටි කාලීනව සහ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නට සහභාගී වෙන්නට කියලා. මම අවංකවම මුනාන්සලාගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඉදිරියේදී එක්ව කටයුතු කරලා අපි මේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට විසඳුම් සොයමු කියන එක.
Governor of the Central Bank, Ajit Niwad Kabra, said they view the burden as the main reason for the existing problem. which is from a period of 2015 to 2019. Within these 5 years, foreign debt has increased from 23 billion to $38.7 billion by a margin of 65%. He added the national sovereign bonds and commercial debt increased from $5 billion to $15 billion by 200%. However, the country's gross national product has increased to $84 billion from $79.4 billion by a margin of only 5.8%. The massive incompatibility had made it a big challenge to repay the amount of $6 billion as a state debt service from 2019 onwards. He also recalled that in the year 2014, only $2 billion were needed for debt payment. The insignificant growth in the economy since 2019 had made it extremely difficult to face the challenge. The governor added that the rate of economic collapse was aggravated by the end of 2020, with the gross national product declining to $81 billion. Now, of course, in the party discussion, there were numerous other parties apart from the government present, and they also had their views.
Absolutely, Ewan. Prominent political leaders in Sri Lanka who have a vast experience expressed their views and suggestions regarding the present situation in the country at the all-party conference held this morning. They suggested to work together, leaving behind political differences. Parliamentarian and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that they must join hands at least on short-term basis to stabilize the economy. If we fail, the people will lose confidence on the future of the country. He further said that there are officials in the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance who are able to deal with the International Monetary Fund. However, nobody is able to restructure the debt. The parliamentarian also said Sri Lanka must make use of the services of two prominent companies which are able to provide professional and legal knowledge in these issues. Sri Lanka must also get hold of the services of financial analysts. The government must also pledge to create a safety web for banks. The budget for 2022 has been prepared prior to the emergence of the crisis. Therefore, there is no relationship between this budget and the problem. He added that we are going to draft a new budget. Only the essential expenditure should be included. Ranil Wickremesinghe further said that he believes that 50% of the population have to be provided with relief. Former President Maithripala Sirisena said that the people of the country may be deprived of the opportunities of celebrating the upcoming festival due to the economic decline. He also reiterated that government should take special measures to provide maximum relief to the masses, especially during the New Year season. Parliamentarians representing various political parties addressed the all-party conference this morning. They put forward various proposals that help to resolve the ongoing economic crisis. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi said that they hold the opinion as a political party that a constructive dialogue will have to be conducted also with the Most Venerable Mahasangha, the revered clergyman, on the issue. State Minister Dayasri Jayasekara said that different people view the situation in different angles. He added that national government's privileged titles have never become factors in their agendas. The State Minister further said that what they want to see is the elimination of burden of the innocent people who are struggling in queues with great difficulties to fulfill their basic consumer needs such as gas, fuel and milk powder. Has also inquired as to how we should face the situation at a time when the prices of essential food items are increasing. Leader of the Sri Lanka Mahajana Party, Asanka Navaratna, said that people are being subjected to immense pressure. Sean Vijayalal De Silva of the SLFP said that they hold the notion that we must act in cooperation with the International Monetary Fund. Sri Lanka has been negotiating with the IMF for a period of nearly 72 years. There may have been advantages and disadvantages as a result of this association. He has further stated that when dealing with the IMF regarding obtaining loans and assistance, such activities should be carried out without causing any damage to the sovereignty and independence of the country. Parliamentarian of the SLFP Suresh Raghavan said that anybody could criticize. However, criticism based on lack of inquiry do not help us to find a solution.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that the Cabinet of Ministers are ready to go through all proposals put forward by various political party representatives at the All-Party Conference. The government will work towards a comprehensive framework and resolve the current economic crisis with the support of all relevant factors. Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that they are hoping to conduct further talks on the facts presented today. The minister said that they realise the tremendous difficulties experienced by people at present. He also said the President and Minister Bandula Gunawardena are taking measures to provide relief to masses prior to the Sinhala New Year. He added that the problems including fuel and gas have risen as a result of the dollar problem. He further said the President, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers are ready to look into the proposals presented to resolve the current crisis.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has extended his gratitude to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the assistance being provided by the Government of India to Sri Lanka's economic development. The Prime Minister has specially thanked the Indian Prime Minister for the loan assistance provided recently. He has also expressed hope that India would continue to focus special attention on the development activities of the island nation. Under Secretary of Political Affairs of the U.S. State Department, Victoria Nuland, says that her country is ready to extend assistance for the development of Sri Lanka's cyber and information technology sectors. She has given the assurance when she met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat this evening. During the meeting, attention has been focused on many sectors where cooperation could be enhanced. The President has made a clarification on the facts presented at the All-Party Conference, its progress and the talks to be conducted with the Tamil National Alliance. The Undersecretary has expressed appreciation over the information and pointed out the need to conduct talks with Tamil diaspora in Canada, the United States and European countries. The President has responded saying that he is willing to conduct talks with the Tamil diaspora. He has also stated that invitations are being extended to investors to engage in development in the northern province. Mrs. Nuland said steps will be taken to introduce US green technology to Sri Lanka. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa further stated that it has been decided to go before the IMF in the face of harmful impact on the country's economy and the COVID pandemic, other occurrences in the country. The US Undersecretary has also praised the measures taken by Sri Lanka government to revise the Prevention of Terrorism Act and strengthen the mechanism for searching truth. The President has also requested the US representatives to assist Sri Lanka in the generation of electricity through renewable power sources. US Undersecretary Don Liu, Deputy Chief Defense Secretary Amanda Dole, Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Peters, President Secretary Gamni Senrath and Chief Presidential Advisor Lalit Viratunga have also attended the discussion.
The United States of America reiterated that they are committed to extend support to Sri Lanka at this crucial moment. Undersecretary of Political Affairs of the U.S. Department of State, Victoria Nuland, who is currently on a visit on Sri Lanka, says that the decision to find solutions through cooperation of the International Monetary Fund is an important step taken. Ms. Victoria Nuland has commenced her two-day official visit in the island last night. She was welcomed at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunaika by Foreign Secretary Admiral Professor Jayanath Kolumbage. The US delegation was engaged in US-Sri Lanka bilateral discussions at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombo this morning. This was the first partnership forum between the two countries since the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has unveiled a bilateral statement issued after the talks. The two parties were scheduled to act in common agreement in issues pertaining to enhancement of economic cooperation, engage in common perspective relating to climate changes and environment disputes, as well as Sri Lanka receiving continuous US aid through the US Aid Institute.
This year should be on economic diplomacy. That is what our country needs at this time. There is non-debt inflows of foreign exchange, by which we mean principally trade, investment and tourism. So we have given our missions very clear directions about what their focus, their emphasis and their priorities should be. In that overall context, it is natural that in our discussions we should have paid considerable attention to the economic dimension of the relationship between our two great countries. So we explored avenues that are available for more vigorous investment by American companies into Sri Lanka, ways of developing the contours of our trade relations. And although the number of tourists visiting us from the United States is at present quite modest, I think there are opportunities for expanding that as well.
We are very, very pleased to be able to renew our annual partnership dialogue in person after the long gap imposed by COVID. Of course, our partnership with Sri Lanka has been strong for 70 plus years, including through the difficult COVID period where we were pleased to be a supplier of vaccines and equipment. And today we had a very rich and varied conversation, as the foreign minister said, about our shared aspirations for the strongest, most democratic, most prosperous, most just Sri Lanka in partnership with the United States. In that context, we commend the first steps taken in recent weeks and days towards national healing here, towards human rights, towards justice, particularly the amendments passed yesterday to the Prevention of Terror Act and the release of some prisoners. As the foreign minister said, the president's decision to meet on Friday with the Tamil National Alliance is a very important step and one that we welcome. But overall, I want to particularly commend the foreign minister and his partnership with the justice minister. As you take those steps, it will open even more space for our partnership, particularly in the security arena, which is already strong in the maritime domain and the aviation domain. As you know, we have 2 U.S. cutters which are now in service in the Sri Lankan Navy. What's absolutely crucial, though, is the courageous step by the government to reach out to the International Monetary Fund for help now with your debt overhang, with your fiscal and monetary needs. And as you roll up your sleeves and do the hard work to strengthen and heal the economy here, the United States will be your partner, and we will strengthen the capacity in our embassy to work with you.
Now, to fulfill the demand for gas in the country, Litro Gas Company has issued 120,000 domestic gas cylinders to the market just yesterday.
Yes, a gas crisis is ongoing. A resolution may be in the offing as Litro Gas Company says that gas distribution is being carried out consciously, while meanwhile the Public Utilities Commission says power cuts may be enforced in many parts of the island tomorrow as well. The Litro Gas Company says 120,000 domestic gas cylinders have been issued to the market yesterday alone. Chairman of the company, Tushara Jaisinghe, told the national television that gas distribution process is being carried out on an island-wide basis. 2 more ships with gas stocks are scheduled to arrive in the island shortly. The company has also expressed hope of fulfilling the demand for gas in the country within the next few days.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa have presided over the World Water Day commemoration ceremony at the Temple Trees yesterday. The theme of this year's celebrations has been groundwater, making the invisible visible. The importance of groundwater is being pointed out as a means to get accustomed to changes in water and sanitation network, agro-industry, other industries, ecosystems and climate. The President was engaged in requesting 2 people via the internet the implementation of Kaluthara, Agalawatha and Mathugama water schemes. These projects have been introduced as a remedy to the problem of seawater seeping into drinking water. The other activities that have taken place at the ceremony included commencement of an insurance scheme for members of community-based organizations, according to a plan of the Department of Community Water Supply, and the presentation of certificates to the winners of the student competition organized by the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. A memorandum relating to projects successfully completed by the Department of Water Supply for the provision of safe drinking water to 1,000 villagers was presented on this occasion to the President by State Minister Sanat Nishanta. It was the President who has initiated the digital technology program enabling to set up South Asia's first utility institute, providing consumer services via social media. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, addressing the ceremony, said that the government's objective is to supply clean, pipe-borne drinking water facilities to all people in the country by the year 2025. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the Saubhagya, the ACMA policy statement, has stated that all measures will be taken to provide pure drinking water to all citizens. Sri Lanka's biggest seawater recycling project has commenced operation centering on Jaffna Peninsula. The Prime Minister further said that although this is an extremely expensive project, it has to be implemented in order to quench thirst of the people in the north.
ඒ මිලාදික වුණත් උතුරේ ජනතාවගේ පිපාසය නිවාලන්න කළ යුතුම දෙයක් ලෙස සලකා ඉටු කරන බව ඒ ජනතාවට මතක් කරන්න කැමැතියි.
Other significant features of this year's Water Day ceremony have been extended felicitations to 8 international institutions sponsoring on water project implementation and the handing over of presidential awards to the best manager, best official in charge of work and to the best community water society. State ministers, ambassadors, representatives of local and foreign contract companies, advisors and ministry secretaries have also attended the event.
Deputy Director of Health Services Dr. Hemant Herath says that another increase in the number of COVID-19 patients may be expected after the upcoming New Year season. Meanwhile, health authorities point out the need for people acting according to health guidelines to minimize any such impending situation. It has also been pointed out that it is compulsory to receive the booster dose.
We have already imported a few batches of vaccines which had a maximum shelf life up to the middle of this year when we were importing them at the latter part of last year. So we had enough shelf life for these vaccines when we were importing, and we were expecting our people would take all these vaccines within a very short period of time. However, we have seen that only 50% of the target population is, or just above 52% of the target population has already obtained these vaccines. So therefore, we always urge the public, if you have not taken your appropriate vaccine, please get your vaccines as early as possible. We know that the number of deaths reported at present are around or less than 10. Almost 90% of the cases are elderly people. We know that a relatively high number of students were given the first dose of Pfizer vaccine. However, we are yet to receive the sufficient coverage for the second dose. So therefore, we will urge the public, especially the parents, to encourage your children to get the appropriate vaccine if they are so. And we have to take all possible precautions to ensure that there will be no such surge after the new year.
The National People's Power has organized a rally in Nugegoda today demanding solutions to the existing crisis. Many party activists, including leaders, have attended the meeting. The procession, which started at 3 p.m. from Delkhanda, has arrived at the Ananda Samrakod Open Theatre via the Nugegoda Junction. As a result of the holding of the rally, all roads around Delkhanda Junction in Nugegoda were heavily congested. The meeting has started after the people who came on foot reached the Ananda Samrakod Open Air Stadium.
The Ministry of Education says 92% of school textbooks scheduled to be delivered to students in the year 2022 have been already distributed. This was disclosed at the media discussion titled "The Progress of 1,000 National Schools Programs and the Benefits to be Received by the Students" at the Department of Government Information yesterday. Commissioner of the Educational Publications, PM Aila Peruma, said that they have distributed texts valued at 34.8 million rupees by yesterday. He also said that they have received by yesterday 31.6% of the books to be printed by the department. He added that they hope to print the remaining texts by the time of the commencement of the next school term and to distribute among the students without delay. Opinions have also been expressed regarding the distribution of school uniforms. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Perera, said that they have called the tenders by today for the provision of 11 million meters of clothing material. Meanwhile, it is the opinion of many persons that is somewhat cumbersome task to obtain the services easily from a government hospital. However, the digital technology has been able to fulfill the change in the situation. Such programs are being implemented in many government hospitals currently. A person who is arriving to receive the outside patient treatment in a service in a hospital will first have to register by providing information such as a name, address and national identity card number. Upon fulfillment of these requirements, a patient is handed a coded card with personal health number. Then this card is directed to a barcode reader located in the hospital. He or she is being provided with the information pertaining to the number of waiting list, the room number of the physician reserved for the consultation, with her handing over the coded card to the physician. The medical professionals are able to find the relevant information of the patient in a computer screen. The health condition of the patient, any forms of allergies present, the type of medicine to be prescribed and the type of laboratory test to be performed will be informed to the physician. This information is made available not only to the physician but to relevant health staff at every occasion the patient is arriving to receive treatment. This duty of the patient is to carefully preserve the coded card. It becomes important especially when receiving medicine and obtaining laboratory services. It is also enabling the patient to receive the necessary treatment and to leave the hospital within a short period. The procedure has also become invaluable in maintaining medical records in an orderly manner to accurately fulfill the needs of the patient.